Mina Isatus Sise and see the camera the Sierra Leone Police Headquarters concerning the press conference where the Sierra Leone Police call.
We are deploying a huge contingent of police officers for the Waterloo District Council Chairman elections slated for the second, that is on Saturday. That one is very contentious, so and we have a responsibility as police to provide security for the conduct of elections because it is us, it is the security we provide for elections which validates the outcome. So we are there, we are moving huge personnel and the team will be led by the Director of Operations since he has direct responsibility for that one. He's going to lead the team. We have drawn personnel from different police command units to be there since Waterloo is a very big district, so that we can provide the much needed security for that one. So like I said earlier on, lots and lots and lots of operations are going on. Patrols, raids, enforcement of the basic COVID-19 regulations, they are ongoing. Having said that, we move on to under number 4, second item, letter B, update on major investigations we are conducting at the CID. At the CID, we are looking at many matters, but we have some that dominate others in terms of importance. In the first place, I want to brief the Fourth Estate on a joint exercise we conducted over the weekend with our counterparts from Nigeria. Recently, under the leadership of the Inspector General of Police, Dr. Amusovula, we have built a very cordial relationship with the Nigerian police, where we are doing exchange of technology, exchange of expertise to an extent. It started with Sierra Leone Police sending 10 people to Nigeria, NIPS, the International Police School, to go and build their capacity in providing leadership in this organization. And just today, we have also dispatched 10 other senior officers to the same school in Nigeria with a view to also build their own capacity. But in the realm of the International Police Cooperation, we have worked with 2 officers from Nigeria, one from Interpol and one from the Nigeria CID, to follow up on a 419 scam which took place in 2020, November 2020, last year. It actually started in Nigeria itself. A businessman was duped, money to the tune of $149,000. The first suspect, Sunday Humphrey, met this businessman, Mr. Akeju S. Olubenga. These Nigerian names. They met in Abuja, and they told him he has business contacts in Sierra Leone, and he has had a long dealing with them for the past 20 years that he buys gold from Ghana, Mali, and Sierra Leone. So he lured this businessman to coming over to Sierra Leone, and in Sierra Leone he met with 2 other people, 3 others for that. 3 other people he met with them. Another Sunday, Emmanuel, Gabriel Felix, and John Sano. John Sano apparently is a Sierra Leonean. So all 3 of them, they duped this man the sum of $149,000 to the pretext that they are going to send him 15 gold bars to Dubai. So the guy went to Dubai, he waited there for 3 months, he did not receive the gold, and he was talking to Sano. Sano was saying, oh, the consignment is stuck in Ghana, it is stuck in Ethiopia. So at the end of the day, he didn't receive any of the gold for which he has paid $149,000 for. After 3 months, this same complainant engaged these people again. So now they now started a new contract to buy like 20 bars of gold. So the guy flew in with these officers from Interpol and CID. So on the 24th of this month, we conducted a raid, sting operation, and we were able to arrest all of these suspects, and one safe and two metal boxes which are suspected to contain fake gold bars or gold dust. They were arrested at the Leone Hotel because we had to lure them to come to Leone Hotel, where we actually lay in wait for them. So we picked them up from there, and they are now in our custody. We are continuing the investigation. Secondly, we have this issue of about 100 Guineans who were found in the house at the back of the Western Rural District Council office at Waterloo. Yes, their growing number on a daily basis aroused the suspicion of people living within that community, and they informed the police. So we took them. We brought them all to Quay. We have a very big multi-purpose hall at Quay which can accommodate all of them. So they are there for the past 2 days. We started on Friday actually. So for the past 3 days we have been taking statements from them, and they are victims of fraudsters. These are people who lied to them. There is a popular scam within and around this country called the QNet. QNet actually is an online business entity. They have their headquarters in Hong Kong, another in Malaysia, but within the West African sub-region, they have offices in Ghana, Ivory Coast, Nigeria, and Cameroon. They have what we call independent representatives. These are people who have the authority from QNet, from any of these headquarters, to do online business for them. So these are the people who attracted this crowd at Waterloo. So by the time they knew we are moving in on them, they fled. The key players in this particular scam, they left, and we brought the 100 Guineans to Quay. The Guinean embassy was intimated, and they provided support to our investigations by giving us interpreters, because all of them are speaking only French and Soso. So within our fold, we have lots of officers who are fluent in those languages, so we brought them on board, and we have completed the statements we completed this morning. So now, as I'm talking to you, we are putting together a final report on what should happen next to them. But taking cognizance of the ECOWAS protocol, which allows free movement, we are working closely with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation to see how best we can lay to rest that growing number. But the number is large, and I want to assure you we have about 13 female amongst them. So though the number is large, 100, they do not pose any threat to the security of this country. In any way, they don't pose any threat. So we are looking at that, and when we have the report done, we'll engage the authorities as the case may be, so that we can put it to rest finally. The ambassador is involved, our foreign office is involved, equally so the Minister of Internal Affairs, and of course the police boss. And then on Friday last week, 24th also, we got information on very criminal activity which is going on at the Queen Elizabeth II Quay, what they call deep water quay, and indeed it's very deep. What they are doing here is they are clearing containers using false CTN. CTN simply refers to container tracking numbers. These are numbers you use to clear a container from the ship through Bolori and all the other offices where payments are made until it gets out of the quay by the Quay gate. But as recent as Thursday, the management of port, together with our own intelligence operatives at the quay, we have trained them to understand the documents. So they saw a couple of documents which were suspected to have been altered. So they raised the red flag around that one, and we halted the movement of 3 containers out of the quay, not knowing that we had more than 15 stuck in there, which had gone through the same criminal process. So we commenced investigations on Monday. We are taking statements, and now, as I'm talking to you, we are at the point where the management of the ports is now identifying individually those containers which were cleared using falsified container tracking numbers. That is what we are doing. So, as a way of updates on major investigations at the CID, these are some of them. And of course, we are looking also at an incident which took place at Lumley for the unlawful possession of 23 solar panels and 5 solar batteries. On the 18th, actually, the Pakuma by Kamara, the chief of speaker of Kafulom, reported to the police that on the 11th of September, Councillor Ibrahim Sanko of Ward 239, constituency 077, who resides at the back of the Ahmadiyya Muslim School at Asoya Lungi, approached him and made a confession that he has in his possession 23 solar panels and 5 solar batteries. According to him, he had collected these items so that he can prevent them from being stolen, because the stealing of solar panels and solar batteries had become common practice at that time. So then the chief of speaker told him, so well, if that's the case, let us go to the police and report it so that it can be on record. He refused to go. The chief went to the police station, the speaker went to the police station, and they called the honorable on the phone. He did not show up. So a team was put together to go and conduct a search at his premises at the back of Ahmadiyya School. When they got there, the councillor and his wife were not there. But we met a caretaker, Abbas Kamara, the caretaker. So the authority of the search is that you can break and enter into any premises where you reasonably suspect that items illegally obtained are being stored. So in the presence of the section chief, where his residence is, and the caretaker, police had to force their way into the house, and we have recovered the solar panels and the batteries. The councillor is out of the jurisdiction, out of the country. So what we have done, we have contacted scientific support to get his prints, and when we get his prints, we are going to work together with Interpol, and we raise the red flag as a wanted person, and we are informed this is Cyprus. Cyprus is part of Interpol. So we hope to bring him back to come and face justice. So basically from the CID, except otherwise, these are some of the major cases we are looking at, just in case for you to know. Now we look at other departments or regions represented here. So to start with, I will ask the regional commander, Freetown West, to give us an update on major incidents in this region. Thank you.
With your permission, Mr. Chairman, good afternoon, everybody. The media officer have introduced me. On the 28th of September, Tuesday, based on intelligence we received as we are embarking on intelligence-led policing. We raided the Lumley car wash, where it has been practiced that they are doing drugs there. We arrested 3 people with various drugs ranging from cannabis, kush, tramadol, etc., together with the sum of 159,000 leones. They were taken to Lumley police station, where they were interrogated, and they have been transferred to Toku, who are the specialists in drugs. And the second issue is this court execution, which was done on the 29th of September, that was yesterday, at the back of the American Embassy. That issue has been going on for a long time. The court order has been there, and we, the police, are supposed to provide security for the bailiffs who went there, and the bailiff engage those who reside within the area of the execution. After the engagement, the execution was going on smoothly. All of a sudden, a soldier from nowhere came with a vehicle and sparked off some amount of riot. He was contained and taken to the police station. Within that period, somebody was slashed with a machete. The person was one Abdullah Ba. He sustained a very serious wound on the left arm, and he was taken to the hospital, whilst about 10 people, including the military officer, were arrested and taken to Lumley police station, where we are investigating. And we'll continue with the execution. The bailiff did their job till completion, and the area was calm till the police left the scene. I think so far that's the most important thing we have.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Commander of Freetown West, for that update. Now, let me now invite the police spokesman to say a few things about what he knows about us.
Colleagues, good afternoon once more. Good afternoon once more. Let me start with the last issue, the one that has to do with the execution done yesterday by the court officials. You know, normally people say this was done by the police. You know, sometimes when you do not have the information right, you also put out the wrong information. I'm a little bit disappointed because I have to bring in something. Yesterday, I got a call from A to Z. I think it was the editor. He wanted to know about the execution done. And I told him that one was done by the court officials, and we were there to provide security as provided for by law. And sometimes we fail to understand the job of the police. If you read the Police Act of 1964, Act number 7, it is there clearly stated that 1, we have the responsibility to provide, to protect lives and property, and 2, we have the responsibility to enforce relevant laws, and 3, we also have the responsibility to preserve, or otherwise referred to as maintaining law and order, and then we also have the responsibility to apprehend offenders and to prosecute them. We also have the responsibility to prevent and detect crime. So if there is an execution to be done on a piece of land, or let me say a property, The Inspector General of Police, if you don't know it now, that he is the sheriff of the High Court of Sierra Leone. But there is somebody we call the under sheriff, who works directly under the judiciary. So whenever there is a court order, they now have to come to the police, they inform the police, go through the process, like alluded to by the chairperson. We can go there and do a threat assessment, and depending on what obtains on the ground, we will now have to go in and support the bailiffs to do their job. And so we were there yesterday to do our job by providing security, providing what we call security cover for the bailiffs to do their job. It's not our job to get people out of a premise as provided for by law. No, it's not our job. We go there to provide security, because those guys who are going there to do the job, they are government officials or they are officials of the judiciary. They have to be protected. And it is the job of the police to protect lives and property. We are also there to even protect the lives of those who are, you can call them illegal occupants. That's our job as well. You understand? I was a little bit taken aback, and I have to say it, and I'm very serious about it. And I read the newspapers this morning, and then the headline coming from A to Z was very displeasing to me, and I made my point very clear. They presented the police as if, they portrayed the police as if it was the police who made people homeless, and I had to challenge it. In our own group, the group I created, this SLP press conference, and I told them, no, we cannot do this. You called me and we spoke, and I gave you the information you needed. So why do you now have to go and misrepresent us? But fair enough, they said they are going to defend it here, so I'm still waiting for the defense. Because as far as we are concerned, we are fully aware of what is inscribed in the Media Code of Practice. We know what is there, and the cardinal rule of journalism is accuracy. And that's the very first one. You say you check and cross-check. So if you had checked and you cross-checked with me, but you decided to misrepresent the police, no, I think it's like we are crossing the line. Understand? So they said they are going to defend it here. So I know question time, maybe they will have to come up. But that's the situation. So I want to make this one very clear, that it's not the job of the police to drive people out of a piece of land or a property. If there is an order from the court, what we do, we go do the threat assessment, and if we think it is feasible for the bailiffs to go and do their job, we go there and provide them security so that they do their job with finesse, and then we leave the scene, as the case may be. But over and again, people have been portraying, hey, na police. It's not the police. That's not our job. So that's one. The second one has to do with kidnapping. We have been inundated with calls coming from the press, and they've been seeking information with regards to what is making rounds on social media, that people are being kidnapped here and there. And then that one was taking kind of prominence. Because it is not correct, what we did was we came out with a public notice. Very explicit public notice. And in fact, we even went further to even let the public know that one among the cases cited as a kidnapping incident was just a false alarm. Completely false alarm. To a point we are even annoyed that we had to commit a lot of resources just for us to unearth the truth. So we want the public to know that people talk about rampant kidnappings. It is not happening in Sierra Leone. No, kidnapping is uncommon in Sierra Leone. I have to be very frank. I have had the opportunity to travel out of Sierra Leone, and I know when you talk about kidnapping, the country you can associate with kidnapping. And I don't think I can name names here, but if you do your research, you know. For some countries, kidnapping is the common crime, but it is uncommon in Sierra Leone. So the portraying Sierra Leone as a destination for kidnappings, I mean, to me, it's very unfair. It's unfair to the state, it's unfair to the security services, and it's even unfair to your very self. So you being members of the Fourth Estate, I want to implore you to pass on the right information to our guys out there and let them know Sierra Leone is not under a situation where anybody could be kidnapped at any time, and then the next thing that they ask you for ransom. No. Additionally, people have been talking about what we call professional standards, but I normally say when it comes to professionalism, it is to me, I consider it to be subjective. It is what you think is professional. You can come to me, you can come to the police station and say, I have a report against Mr. B. And then the police does the right thing. When police are professional, they don't go arrest the person encounter. That's professionalism on the part of the police. And that's your characterization of the police at that time. But if after 30 minutes, you commit an offense and the police go and arrest you, you now begin to say the police they are not professional. You say me individual. You now see why I say it's a matter of it's a subjective issue. So sometimes people say, hey, you are not professional. But when you ask them, you are not professional, I went to the police and the police arrested me for ABC. It was because you are wrong. Equally, you went to the police and reported, and the police went there and they arrested who offended you. So what we have been doing over the period, we have said that we are one among the institutions in Sierra Leone. We do take actions against ourselves. We take decisions against ourselves. We sometimes dismiss people. And today we want to give you statistics of what we have been doing since January up to September. We want to give you the statistics. From the statistics we have here, it's a number of cases reported. Cases people report against police officers. Sometimes they could come from police officers themselves. If I'm offended by another officer, I have the right to go to CDID and report. Because it is an offense for me to quarrel with a member of the force. That's an offense on its own, quarreling with a member of the force. So I cannot quarrel with somebody who is a police officer. I can go to CDID and report. This is why they say complaint, discipline, and internal investigations. So it's that aspect of law where we talk about administrative law. We apply the administrative law. And then the document we are using is a constitutional instrument. If you read section 155 up to section 158 of the Constitution, it is exclusive to the SLP. Very exclusive. Everything there is about the SLP. 155 to 1558. And there is an aspect which says the police council, they have the right to put in place regulations to ensure that there is discipline within the force. And so therefore in 2001, when we had Vice President Dr. Joe Dembi of blessed memory, during the restructuring, they were able to come up with a document. We refer to it as the Police Discipline Regulations of 2001. That document is very exhaustive. So we use that document to discipline ourselves. So what we have been doing over the period, we have ensured that complaints coming to CDID are well investigated, even though for us the burden, the standard of proof is not like the one we have for the legal burden of proof. For the legal burden of proof, we're talking about the standard is the burden itself. The legal burden of proof is talking about. It is the responsibility of the prosecution to prove their case, and the standard set is to prove beyond all reasonable doubt. But for us, it's not beyond all reasonable doubt. It's on the balance of probability. We now have to look at what we call the preponderance of evidence. In other words, the strength of evidence. If the strength of evidence is, if the evidence is strong against you, then you could be convicted for whatever you've been brought in for. And so 572 cases were reported to CDID. I'm talking about across the board, either in Freetown or elsewhere. 572 cases. And then, as I speak, we have up to about 49 suspensions. In other words, we have 49 police officers who are on suspension. But let me clear this one. In the SLP, when you're on suspension, you're only deprived from going to work. But at the end of the month, you get your salary. You also get a bag of rice. So the suspension is for you to give time to the investigations. Say, for example, you are head of media, and then you are being investigated, you could be suspended. If you're not suspended, you have to go to Apple. Hey, I didn't hear you. Let me come make statement. Understand? So that discretion is at we have the IGP. It has his behest to say it should be suspended so that at the end of the day we can speed up the investigations. So 49 are on suspension, and then we have what we call revocation. In other words, you are suspended, and then they say, okay, we are revoking the suspension. 23 done. And the number of corrective training, 50 people are sent on corrective training. In the SLP, there are certain offenses. We say, okay, maybe you'll not be training fine. So we take you back to PTS, you go and sponsor yourself, maybe 1 month or 2 months or 3 months. And then we take you back to the classroom. That's, we call it corrective training. You know, they could be on human rights issues as the case may be. And then for dismissals, so between January and September, we've dismissed 6 police officers. 6. We also have what we call struck off strength. It's not dismissal, but we just get you off the payroll. The rule says if you don't come to work for 21 consecutive days, we don't have to waste time with you. 21 days you don't come to work, we get you off the payroll. That is what we call struck off strength. So for that one, we have 18. And the number of reductions in rank. Sometimes we do not dismiss, we are not going to dismiss you, or you are not dismissed, but we say, since you cannot carry the burden of the rank you cannot carry the burden of the rank you now have, or you now carry. So what we do, if you are ASP, we bring you down to inspector. If you are assistant commissioner, we bring you down to chief superintendent. So for those ones, we have 2 officers were reduced in rank. And then shooting incident involving police, we have 3. Of course, we handle them. They are all part of the dismissal. And the number of cases sent to the DPP, if you look at the police discipline regulations of 2001, it is provided that for somebody within the rank of ASP and above, if you are dealing with them, you don't just take them to disciplinary hearing. You have to take the file to the office of the director of DPP. He has to advise. And so over this period, we took 10 matters to them, and then they gave their honest advice, and then we were able to do what we are supposed to do. So basically, this is a summary in terms of statistics of cases reported, and then outcome at the CDID. Thank you very much, sir.
And during the press conference, then we get for give update about the matters them away they under investigation, and also the public relation officer for the Sierra Leone Police, when an assistant commissioner of police, when a Brahma Kamara himself talk about some matters them away they report against the police, and also where police report police. Again, statistics of the matters them from January to September.